Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Box, Easy English with Julia and Tom, where we help you speak English more naturally and confidently every day. I'm Julia.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom, and today we're going to learn something that many professionals struggle with: how to talk about charts, graphs, and visual data in English.
Have you ever opened a presentation, looked at a chart, and thought, I understand the numbers, but I don't know how to explain them in English?
You're not alone. Many English learners know the data very well, but when it's time to present, they end up saying, sales go up, revenue goes down, this line increases.
And while people may understand you, it doesn't sound natural or professional. The good news is that presenting data is actually very predictable. Once you learn the common phrases, you'll be able to explain almost any chart with confidence.
Today, we'll show you exactly how. We'll cover how to introduce a chart, how to describe increases and decreases, how to talk about trends, how to compare data, how to highlight key insights, and how to conclude your analysis professionally.
And before we begin, if you enjoy learning English through practical workplace situations like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
We'll speak slowly, repeat important phrases several times, and give you lots of real examples. Feel free to pause, repeat, and practice with us.
All right, let's get started.
Before we learn the phrases, let's look at the overall structure. When presenting a chart, most professionals follow a simple 5-step framework.
1. Introduce the visual. 2. Explain what it shows. 3. Describe the main trend. 4. Highlight key data points. 5. Give your conclusion or insight.
Simple structure, very professional. Let's see an example.
Let's look at this chart. This chart shows monthly sales from January to June. As you can see, sales increased steadily during the first 4 months. The highest figure was recorded in May. However, sales declined slightly in June. Overall, the trend is positive, suggesting strong business growth.
That's it, a complete chart presentation in just a few sentences. Now, let's learn each part step by step.
Part 1. Introducing a chart. These phrases help direct your audience's attention to the visual. Let's look at this chart. Let's look at this chart. Let's look at this chart. Example: let's look at this chart showing customer growth over the last year.
I'd like to draw your attention to this graph. I'd like to draw your attention to this graph. I'd like to draw your attention to this graph. Example: I'd like to draw your attention to this graph illustrating monthly revenue.
This chart shows. This chart shows. This chart shows. Example: this chart shows sales performance across different regions.
The graph illustrates. The graph illustrates. The graph illustrates. Example: the graph illustrates changes in customer satisfaction.
The data presented here shows. The data presented here shows. The data presented here shows. Example: the data presented here shows employee turnover over the last 5 years.
As you can see from the chart, As you can see from the chart, example, as you can see from the chart, demand has increased significantly.
This figure represents. This figure represents. This figure represents. Example, this figure represents the percentage of online purchases.
The visual compares. The visual compares. The visual compares. Example, the visual compares sales performance across 4 product categories. Well, Julia, these phrases are actually much simpler than I expected. I used to say, "This is my chart." Now I have several more professional options.
Exactly. You don't need complicated English to sound professional. A few natural opening phrases are enough to guide your audience's attention and make your presentation feel more organized.
So before you explain the numbers, always introduce the visual first. It gives your audience a moment to look at the chart and understand what they're about to see.
That's right. A good presentation isn't just about showing data. It's about guiding your audience through the data step by step. Part 2. Describing increases. Now let's talk about growth and increases. These are some of the most common phrases used in business presentations. Sales increased. Sales increased. Sales increased. Example, sales increased by 15%.
Revenue rose steadily. Revenue rose steadily. Revenue rose steadily. Example, revenue rose steadily throughout the year.
There was a significant increase. There was a significant increase. There was a significant increase. Example, there was a significant increase in customer demand.
The figure grew rapidly. The figure grew rapidly. The figure grew rapidly. Example, the figure grew rapidly during the second quarter.
The number climbed sharply. The number climbed sharply. The number climbed sharply. Example, the number climbed sharply after the product launch.
The trend moved upward. The trend moved upward. The trend moved upward. Example, the trend moved upward throughout the reporting period.
Sales surged. Sales surged. Sales surged. Example, sales surged during the holiday season.
Demand jumped dramatically. Demand jumped dramatically. Demand jumped dramatically. Example, demand jumped dramatically after the campaign. Great! I noticed there isn't just one way to say go up. Now I can choose words like rose, grew, climbed, or surged, depending on the situation.
Exactly. Using a variety of verbs makes your presentation sound much more natural and professional. It also helps your audience understand how big or how fast the increase was.
So instead of repeating increased over and over, I can make my presentation much more interesting.
That's right. The more precise your language is, the clearer your message becomes. And that's exactly what good presenters do. They help people understand the story behind the numbers. Part 3. Describing decreases.
So far, we've talked about charts that show growth, but in business, the numbers don't always move in the direction we'd like.
That's true. Sometimes sales fall, profits drop, or customer demand declines. And as a presenter, it's important to describe these changes clearly and professionally.
Exactly. You don't need to sound dramatic. Just explain the trend calmly and let the data speak for itself.
Let's practice some of the most common phrases for describing decreases. Sales decreased. Sales decreased. Sales decreased. Example: sales decreased slightly in the final month.
Revenue fell. Revenue fell. Revenue fell. Example: revenue fell after the market slowdown.
There was a decline in. There was a decline in. There was a decline in. Example: there was a decline in customer retention during the second quarter.
The figure dropped sharply. The figure dropped sharply. The figure dropped sharply. Example: the figure dropped sharply in April after a major competitor entered the market.
Demand decreased gradually. Demand decreased gradually. Demand decreased gradually. Example: demand decreased gradually over the course of the year.
The trend moved downward. The trend moved downward. The trend moved downward. Example: the trend moved downward throughout the quarter, although the decline was relatively small.
Great job! Notice that these phrases sound calm, objective, and professional.
Exactly. Instead of saying everything went badly, simply describe what happened using clear, neutral language.
Whether the numbers go up or down, your job is the same. Help your audience understand the trend clearly and confidently. Part 4. Describing stability.
Now let's talk about a different kind of trend. Sometimes the numbers don't go up, and they don't go down either.
Exactly. In many business presentations, your chart might show very little change over time. Knowing how to describe a stable trend makes you sound much more natural and professional. Let's practice the most common expressions. The figure remained stable. The figure remained stable. The figure remained stable. Example: the figure remained stable at around 500 units throughout the second half of the year.
Sales stayed relatively constant. Sales stayed relatively constant. Sales stayed relatively constant. Example: sales stayed relatively constant between March and June, with only small changes each month.
There was little change. There was little change. There was little change. Example: there was little change in customer satisfaction after the new policy was introduced.
The trend leveled off. The trend leveled off. The trend leveled off. Example: after several months of rapid growth, the trend leveled off in the final quarter.
The numbers remained consistent. The numbers remained consistent. The numbers remained consistent. Example: the numbers remained consistent across all 4 regions during the reporting period.
Great job! Remember, a flat trend doesn't mean nothing happened.
Exactly. It tells your audience that performance stayed steady, which can sometimes be just as important as rapid growth or decline.
Keep practicing these phrases, and you'll be able to describe stable trends with confidence in your next presentation.
Part 5. Comparing data.
Now let's compare different categories.
In business presentations, you're often comparing products, regions, departments, or different time periods.
Instead of simply saying A is bigger than B, let's learn some more professional ways to compare data.
Category A performed better than Category B. Category A performed better than Category B. Category A performed better than Category B. Example: Category A performed better than Category B, generating 20% more sales during the first quarter.
Sales in Asia were higher than in Europe. Sales in Asia were higher than in Europe. Sales in Asia were higher than in Europe. Example: Sales in Asia were higher than in Europe, especially during the holiday season.
The highest figure was. The highest figure was. The highest figure was. Example: The highest figure was recorded in July when sales reached $2 million.
The lowest figure was. The lowest figure was. The lowest figure was. Example: The lowest figure was recorded in February with sales of just $800,000.
There was a significant difference between. There was a significant difference between. There was a significant difference between. Example: There was a significant difference between online and in-store sales, with online sales performing much better.
By contrast. By contrast. By contrast. Example: Sales increased in North America. By contrast, sales in Europe remained almost unchanged.
Compared with last year. Compared with last year. Compared with last year. Example: Compared with last year, customer satisfaction improved by 12%.
In comparison. In comparison. In comparison. Example: Our premium products performed very well. In comparison, the budget range showed slower growth.
Excellent! Comparing data isn't just about saying which number is bigger or smaller.
It's about helping your audience quickly understand the differences between products, regions, teams, or time periods.
The more naturally you can compare data, the clearer and more persuasive your presentation will be. Part 6. Highlighting Insights. Now we've reached one of the most important parts of presenting data. Describing the numbers is only the beginning. The real value comes from explaining what those numbers actually mean.
Exactly. Anyone can read a chart, but a great presenter helps the audience understand the story behind the data. Let's practice some useful phrases you can use to share your insights.
One interesting point is. One interesting point is. One interesting point is. Example: One interesting point is that online sales grew faster than in-store sales throughout the year.
What stands out here is. What stands out here is. What stands out here is. Example: What stands out here is the sharp increase in customer demand after the new product launch.
This suggests that. This suggests that. This suggests that. Example, this suggests that our marketing campaign successfully attracted new customers.
This indicates that. This indicates that. This indicates that. Example, this indicates that customers are becoming more interested in our premium products.
The key takeaway is that. The key takeaway is that. The key takeaway is that. Example, the key takeaway is that steady growth over time can be more valuable than short-term spikes.
This could be explained by. This could be explained by. This could be explained by. Example, this could be explained by the successful marketing campaign we launched in April.
One possible reason is. One possible reason is. One possible reason is. Example, one possible reason is that more customers chose to shop online during the holiday season.
This trend may continue if. This trend may continue if. This trend may continue if. Example, this trend may continue if we continue investing in customer service in digital marketing.
Excellent! Remember, your audience doesn't just want to know what happened. They also want to understand why it happened and what it means.
When you explain the insight behind the numbers, you sound more confident, more professional, and more persuasive. So don't stop at describing the chart. Help your audience see the story behind the data.
Part 7. Concluding your analysis.
We've explained the chart, described the trends, compared the data, and shared our insights. Now it's time to bring everything together.
Exactly. A strong conclusion helps your audience remember the main message. Instead of ending with the last number on the chart, summarize what the data tells us and leave your audience with a clear takeaway.
Let's practice some useful phrases for concluding your analysis.
To summarize. To summarize. To summarize. Example. To summarize, sales increased steadily throughout the year, with the strongest growth in the second quarter.
Overall, we can see that. Overall, we can see that. Overall, we can see that. Example. Overall, we can see that customer demand remains strong despite a slight decline in the final month.
In conclusion. In conclusion. In conclusion. Example. In conclusion, our new pricing strategy has had a positive impact on overall sales performance.
The overall trend is positive. The overall trend is positive. The overall trend is positive. Example. The overall trend is positive with steady growth across all product categories.
The data suggests continued growth. The data suggests continued growth. The data suggests continued growth. Example. The data suggests continued growth if current market conditions remain stable.
These results highlight the importance of. These results highlight the importance of. These results highlight the importance of. Example. These results highlight the importance of investing in customer service and digital marketing.
Excellent. Remember, don't finish your presentation by simply saying, "That's all."
Instead, leave your audience with a clear summary of what the data means and why it matters.
A strong conclusion makes your presentation feel complete and reinforces your key message.
All right, we've learned all the building blocks. Now let's see how they fit together in a real presentation.
As you listen, don't worry about memorizing every sentence. Instead, notice the flow, how we introduce the chart, describe the trend, highlight the key point, and finish with a clear conclusion.
Let's practice together.
Let's look at this chart showing monthly sales performance. As you can see, sales increased steadily from January to May. The figure climbed from $100,000 to nearly $180,000. The highest figure was recorded in May. However, sales decreased slightly in June. What stands out here is the strong growth during the second quarter. This suggests that our marketing campaign had a positive impact. Overall, the trend remains positive and indicates continued growth. Thank you.
That's exactly how professionals present charts and meetings in business presentations. Clear, simple, and confident. Wow, we covered a lot today. From introducing charts to explaining trends, comparisons, and key insights. Remember, presenting data isn't just about numbers. It's about telling the story behind the numbers.
Your challenge today. Look at any chart you can find online and describe it using 3 phrases from this lesson. For example, sales increased steadily. The highest figure was recorded in March. Overall, the trend is positive.
Write your example in the comments below. We'll read as many as we can.
And if this lesson helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks for learning with us.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.